being a pair skater, I realized how much work boys are. Okay, I am very critical when it comes to ice skating movies. I have been exposed to so many cultures. Chinese food is amazing. I made quite a few bucks. If your heart really wants it, no one and nothing can stop you.
Greetings, dear friends. My name is Michael-Aquila Gao. Very soon, on February the 4th, there will happen a very cool event. The Winter Olympics in Beijing. I love the Olympics, be it winter, summer, or anywhere in between. What an exciting event! Will you go? I was in Beijing for the 2008 Summer Olympics in my mommy's tummy, en route to Russia. I don't really remember much, but I'm not sure if I will go for the Winter Olympics this time. Too much hassle. And guess what? I got very lucky to meet a real pro ice skater at a skating rink in Zhuhai, where I'd randomly come to simply cut the ice with my sisters for an hour. And such a lucky meeting! My new acquaintance's name is Elizabeth Zhu, and she has made Team China in ice skating. Ooh, how exciting is that? She is an amazing person, bilingual, who has lived in many countries, mighty talented and sparkling with delightful cheerfulness. We met Elizabeth earlier at the end of last year for an interview in a cafe. Thus, there will be some authentic sounds of an actual cafe in the background. And so, without much further ado, here we go, just in time to ignite the spirit of the Winter Olympics.
Okay, today we have an interview with Elizabeth, a great ice skater. Hello. How are you feeling?
I'm good. How are you?
As my first question, I would like to ask for your full Chinese name.
My full Chinese name is Zhu. It actually has 4 characters instead of 3, which is 2, which is the norm.
Very straight. Very cool. I would also like to ask, where were you born?
I was actually born right here in Zhuhai. I am.
Wow. You're just like me. Mm-hmm. So you're fully Chinese mom and dad. Okay. So what language do you speak at home?
I speak only Chinese at home because only my parents only know Chinese, and I speak English with my younger sister because we're the only source of English conversation that we have.
Yeah. I only speak Russian with my dad and my siblings. My mother and sisters. I would also like to ask when you started ice skating.
I actually started ice skating pretty late. I started when I was 12. Most skaters start when they're 6, 7, 8. So I started ice skating at 12. I became a pair skater at 16, and I just recently retired from skating at 18.
I know that you have lived and studied in several countries. Can you tell us about it? How it went?
My first source of education was actually from Canada. I am actually Canadian. So I did kindergarten up to grade 3 in Canada, and then I came back to Zhuhai, and then went to Zhuhai International School until I was in year 7. And year 7 I started homeschooling for figure skating because that's when I was 12. So from then on I trained in the United States, China, Canada, and I've always been homeschooling since then. And right now I'm going to college in Beijing.
As a bilingual, I would like to know how you kept up your levels of English and Chinese. Did you study academic at home or special courses?
Well, actually, when I was in Canada, my mom was with me the whole time, and at home we would always communicate in Chinese. And once I came back to China, my education was always in English. So at home, I always spoke Chinese, and when I was in school, it was always English, so I never lost either language.
Are you fully bilingual, or are there areas in that language where you feel more comfortable?
I'm almost fully bilingual. I feel 100% comfortable in English, but in Chinese, I still have problems with reading and writing, but I can have a conversation with someone, no problem.
Me too. I know Chinese pretty well as I speak it, but I can't read every single character or write them.
You know 3 languages? That's pretty impressive.
Thank you. I'd also like to ask if ice skating somehow helped you in your studies.
I wouldn't say it helped me, but it definitely taught me a lot. It taught me how to balance my skating and studies. It taught me how to fight for what I want, and it definitely motivated me and made me really think about if I really wanted to pursue this path and how important studying was.
And what are your professional achievements in ice skating?
I'm in the Chinese national figure skating. I was in the Chinese national figure skating team as a pair skater, and I was ranked third junior in junior pairs. And this year at the last year at the 2020 Cup of China, I placed third with a partner on podium.
Wow, very impressive. And where do you go now? Where do you plan to go in life?
Actually, in just a couple of weeks, I'll be going to college at Beijing University, which I am very excited about.
Was it difficult for you to enter this university?
Yes, I actually had to give up my place in the figure skating team and to get to this university, and the entrance exam and the Chinese I had to learn was grueling. It might have been just as hard as being a pair skater, I would say.
Cool. And why have you chosen a university in China and not abroad?
I guess it's because it's my dad's alma mater, and from a young age, I always wanted to either go to Harvard or Technical University. And to be honest, I do not have the grades for Harvard, but I worked hard and got my grades up to be able to go to Technical University.
Well, okay. And is Olympic Games ice skating an option for you in the future?
Yeah. It was actually an option for university, as I was on the road to be the alternate for the pair skating team in China. But since I'm in university, I would say probably not.
And what major will be your major in university?
I am planning to study international studies at the university because I have been exposed to so many cultures, and me personally, I have been raised by different cultures. So I feel like this would be a great major for me to study.
I'd also like to find out, when you watch movies about ice skating, are you critical? Do you see faults?
Okay, I am very critical when it comes to ice skating movies, especially when they're not realistic. It kind of hurts me because I know how much work all the actors put in, and when you show that some people can just do what we do in 3 or 4 weeks, I get kind of mad, but I also understand that for the sake of the movie and for the sake of entertainment, things will be different.
I understand that sometimes I see movies about diving, and they're very, very bad because they don't have the exact terms, the correct ones. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I'm pretty unhappy about that. Mm-hmm. Other than ice skating, what are your hobbies? What do you like to do?
I would say ice skating is my main hobby, but I like baking. I do lettering, so hand lettering. Dancing is a very big hobby of mine. I've actually danced. I did ballet for 8 years before I did skating, so technically I danced more than I have skated.
That's an interesting fact. Do you dance well?
That's very subjective. I have no idea if I did, but I did do ballet and jazz. I actually did tap dancing for a few years.
Oh. What do you think are the best things about China and about Canada?
Ooh. I would say China, it would be the thousands of years of culture, like the rich culture that we have, and food. Chinese food is amazing. And in Canada, I would say it would probably be the environment, the mountains, the valleys, the night skies, the northern lights. They are gorgeous. And I would say the Canadian mindset, like very positive and always very kind. That's something that has always helped me.
I never saw the Aurora Borealis, the Northern Lights, but I'd like to see them. I can see pictures, but I don't think they'd be as good as the real ones. So, what is your favorite food?
I have no idea. I like so many foods, I cannot pick a favorite. Don't ask me what my favorite color is. Don't ask me what my favorite food is. Don't ask me what my favorite song is. I cannot pick favorites. I like too much. But I would say desserts. Yeah, that's a category. That's pretty good.
Can you cook any of your favorite foods?
I'm not that good of a cook, but I can bake, and I love baking. Any birthday cakes, Well, I make all our family birthday cakes, and I love baking cookies. I actually had a small baking business when I was skating in Canada, and I would actually sell cookies to the skaters there for a quarter each. And I would actually I made quite a few bucks.
I love making cookies as well. Baking stuff, cakes and cookies and other stuff. Do you have any favorite movies?
No, not particularly, but I'm a big fan of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, as a lot of people are, so for me, any Marvel movie is like...
Okay. And who do you think is better as a boyfriend, a Chinese person or a local? Sorry, Lao Wai.
To be honest, I have never thought about getting a boyfriend. Like, I've never had a boyfriend. I haven't thought about it just because I've been so busy. And after being a pair skater, I realized how much work boys are. And we were just in, like, professional skating partnership. So, I have been starting to think about it more, but with my limited knowledge, for me, right now, I don't have any preferences.
Great. And was it and still is easy to balance multilingualism, pro-sport, with studies for you?
I feel like they all go hand in hand. Like, I feel like the bilingual, it's just a daily thing to me. I personally just use, like, I think in English, my main language is English, and when I go home, or like, because I'm living in Canada right now, it's all Chinese, so the language has never been a huge problem for me. Pro sports really let me, like, I really had to think deep about what I wanted. So I had to make sure I graduated a bit early so I had time to go pro sports. Because I knew that figure skating, no matter how successful I became, not saying that I was, but you know that skating can't last forever. It's just a short period of time where you devote your life to one thing. And after that, you still need a job, you still need a career. So I always knew studies would be a major thing. So studies first, and then figure skating. But figure skating will always be one of my first steps.
And as the last question, I would like to ask what you can say to encourage people who want to know several languages, achieve high results in academic studies, and follow their dream profession.
Wow, that's a hard one. I would say if your heart really wants it, no one and nothing can stop you. And everyone's definition of success is different. Just because you aren't Olympic champion, which most people aren't, that doesn't mean you didn't succeed. Just because you can't translate fluently, but you know 3 different languages, that doesn't mean you didn't succeed. So, what is your definition of success? And try to reach that goal, not what anyone else thinks.
Thank you very much. It was a very good interview. Told me a lot. Wish you the best of luck. Thank you very much.
Thank you.